Welcome to Python with Andrew, where we look at Python as a programming language, and we look at some of the basics at the moment. And today we're going to look at for loops again. And this time we're going to talk about looping through a list, either a list of numbers or a list of items, and to see how easy it is to do in Python and using loops. So let's jump over to Visual Studio Code. And you can see I've already got a basic program there, a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've calculated the length and I print the list. And then I'm going to go through every item in that list and update it by adding 1 to it. So very simple programming. And if I press play, you can see that we get what we want. We start with a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we've created a new list 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, of course, that is a very basic program, but the same process would be true if this line 12 was much, much more complex. Rather than just adding 1, we might do many statements with that list of items in amongst the for loop. But it's nice and clean because it's saying we need to do the process on every item in the list. We could have also simplified this by getting rid of length as an extra variable. And if I put it down here, I could paste that in there, and I could use plus equals 1. And if I save that, clear that, I should get the same result. I've just made it a bit simpler. In fact, let me get rid of this. So I've simplified the program a little bit, but it's the same process. I'm using the for loop to go through every element of the list and do something. Now, granted, at the moment, it's not doing much at all, but easily improved to do some much more detailed processing. So let's just comment that out at the moment and just add a couple of other things further down. Oops. Now I want to bring in the idea of processing lists, not just of numbers, but of items in the list. Now, at the moment, I've got a simple list, and this time I put the list in the for loop. Instead of having a variable above, I've done the list in the for loop. And in this case, I'm going through a list of people's names, and I'm just saying hello. So again, if I clear that, clear that again, save that, and then process that. And as you'd expect, it says hello Fred, hello Joan, hello Sophia, and hello Francis. Again, same idea that the variable person is going to do every item in the list. Again, very simple process, but this particular item here, this print, very simple, nothing much to be done, but that could have been many statements. I could have asked their age, I could have asked do they go to university, and I could have added that into my processing. In fact, if I go forward, let me just comment that one out now and go even further forward, clear that. And I could make this list a bit more complex. In this case, I've got a list of lists of items. So it's sort of like a list, and inside that list there's 2 items, and each item is itself a list. That's how flexible the lists are. And in this case, we've got Fred, 25, university. And let's assume that 25 is the age and university is their current schooling. So I've created a list of lists, and now I'm going to go through, similar to before, and I'm going to run this. And you'll see that it says Fred, 25 years old, and goes to university. And all I'm doing is, if you like, accessing different elements of that second list, or the list within the list. Now, later on, we'll talk about other data structures that I think are far better than doing this with a list, but it does show you how flexible the list is, but also how nice the actual for loop is. It's just a simple one line, and then I'm doing many, many statements throughout. In this case, it's one print statement, but it could be many, many statements. So again, the for loop is perfect when we want to process data. Later, this is a one-dimensional list or one-dimensional row of data where we're doing every element in the data. Then I started to do a list within a list, and it works the same way every time. So it doesn't matter if the data is numbers, words, or names, or even something more complex, which we'll see further on. And that's the short, sharp lesson for today. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And again, please share this with your friends so that they can learn Python as well. Thank you and have a good day.